Welcome back to PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel for our final European special show of 2023. I'm your host, Adam Binney, joined as ever by my glamorous assistant, Blair Malloy, to discuss all of the happenings in match day 6.
Less the assistant part. this is very much a codependent relationship here. Okay, I'll give you that. I like how you're brave enough to wait till the last episode for that.
You didn't pick out the glamorous part? No,
okay.
You don't want to talk about that? Because talk me through the t-shirt.
Yep, quite glamorous today, quite bright.
Of course.
Barcelona 2009-10 away shirt, as worn by Lionel Messi, Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, some real stars in that team. Didn't win the Champions League that year, if you remember rightly. They played Inter Milan in the semi-final. Famous Jose Mourinho done a job on them when they played.
They went down to 10, didn't they?
Yep, Samuel Eto'o ran all over the place that night against his old club. A team from Italy for yourself this week?
Yes, this is the Lazio 2002-2003 season shirt. Just kind of shortly after they sold the likes of Crespo and Nesta.
I was going to say that Siemens Mobile burned Hernan Crespo into my head. What a player he was.
Yeah, no, you didn't actually wear this one, but Diego Simeone. Brilliant.
Back when he was a player, when he was kicking people up and down the park, not just a touchline.
Yeah. I don't know if we've spoken about it, but he was great on that Beckham documentary.
Oh yeah, he was great. Just the persona you imagine is who he is in real life.
Roberto Mancini was the manager wearing this shirt.
Very nice.
I know it's a little bit baggy on me. This is Peters, the boss, that's donated this to me, so it doesn't quite fit like a glove, but it looks fantastic nonetheless, if I do say so myself. Sorry. Blair, let's take a look at the results, starting with Tuesday, final match day of the group stage campaign, and also the final set of fixtures in this current format for the Champions League ever. Lens defeated Sevilla 2-1 in the early kick-off, a 1-1 draw between PSV and Arsenal. Union Berlin 2, Real Madrid 3, another Bellingham masterclass despite not scoring a goal. 3-1 to Benfica when they played RB Salzburg. 2-0 victory for Napoli over Braga. Inter defeating Real Sociedad 3-1, and Copenhagen making it to the last 16 with a 1-0 win over Galatasaray, and Man United losing 1-0 to Bayern Munich to finish bottom of the group. Blair, talk us through Wednesday.
Yep, we move on to Wednesday's results, and it was RB Leipzig 2, Young Boys 1 in one of the early games. The other one, Red Star Belgrade 2, Man City 3. Some Man City's younger players starring for them there. Bit of a shock in the other game, Royal Antwerp 3, Barcelona 2. Porto defeated Shakhtar Donetsk 5-3 in Portugal. What a result that was. Celtic picking up their first Champions League win on match day 6. They beat Feyenoord 2-1 at Celtic Park. Borussia Dortmund drew 1-1 with PSG in Germany. Atletico Madrid winning 2-0 against Lazio, and Newcastle going down 2-1 at home to AC Milan to see them out of the Champions League.
I'm sure everyone watching at home has already had a chance to look at the tables, but let's run through the qualified teams. So making it to the last 16 are, as group winners, are Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Arsenal, Real Sociedad, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund and FC Barcelona. Also qualifying for the round of 16 as group runners-up, RB Leipzig, PSV Eindhoven, FC Copenhagen, Napoli, Inter Milan, Lazio, PSG and FC Porto. Anyone that sticks out for you, Blair, as a surprise in the last 16?
We will come on to talk to them later on a little bit, in FC Copenhagen making it there, but it looks like a stellar lineup for the last 16. It always is. You start to see these glamour ties that come around into the new year, and it starts to really get exciting from this point onwards with the knockout stages.
Yeah, that's one of the sad things about winter, that there's no Champions League football for about 2 months.
Yeah.
It comes back in February, and everyone loves that time of year. Let's talk about Celtic, as we always do, start at home. It's been quite a poor Champions League campaign up until now, finally getting the monkey off the back, if you like, with a win at Celtic Park last night against Feyenoord.
Yeah, I think it was... it's disappointing to see that it's taken till match day 6 to finally get a win for the Scottish side, but I thought they were good for it. I thought Feyenoord were a good team. I thought they were really unlucky with that Jimenez goal that got ruled out, because some of the pass and movement, it was unbelievable all the way up the park, just a fraction offside. But I thought Celtic were well with the win. I thought the ball across for Lagerbielke for the winner was an absolute stunner, and you know, it'll give them hope going into the rest of the season that it can propel them on and always end on a high, despite it being perhaps a disappointing campaign that they're not going to be in Europe after Christmas. Taking that win, you know what winning the Champions League can do under the lights, and it'll push them on. Yeah,
I think it's been a tough period for Celtic as of late, but that result will do the confidence a world of good. Absolutely, as you said, well worth the win as well, but by far the better team in my view. Matt O'Reilly, what about that ball for like a
yeah, unbelievable.
There's nothing O'Reilly can't do. He is a beautiful man and a beautiful football player.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear from the manager, Brendan Rodgers.
And I've seen enough and how we've played and how we fought in games, that if we can strengthen this squad and add quality to it in key areas, then we can take the confidence from this victory and look to qualify again next year, and then and see if we can push on if we can arrive in the competition again. But you have to have certain qualities to perform at this level.
Rodgers has spoken a lot about that recently, needing to add quality. It sounds like he didn't quite get what he was looking for in the summer window. But if you look across Europe, there are teams that have spent fortunes, Blair, and still finished in a similar position to Celtic, bottom of the group.
I mean, we're going to talk about some of the English teams that have obviously finished bottom of their tables. It just shows you that even with all the money in the world, you have to have recruitment absolutely spot on. You have to know how to play these games, and obviously any manager will tell you, I want more quality added to my squad. But there is a step up, and as we'll see, I no doubt over the coming months, the team that are going to be left in the competition are the ones that spend the most money. That's generally the way it goes at the end of the year.
Yeah, generally that is the way it goes, but as we alluded to, a couple of English teams who have spent fortunes in the last few years dropping out. Let's start first of all with Newcastle United. To be fair to them, that is a group of death.
Of course, yeah. I like how we rewind slightly. If we go back to show one, we were both tipping Newcastle to get out that group. But I think, like you said, it's a team of Champions League experience, Champions League guys who have been there for years, Borussia Dortmund winners, PSG finalists, always in about it, AC Milan, Champions League royalty. And Newcastle come up against them and they just fell short. I mean, watching the game last night, Joe Linton's was an absolute stunner. A brilliant goal, one of those ones that stays. It was unbelievable, but they just came a little bit up short.
He's a bit lucky with the first touch.
Yeah,
he goes to take the first touch with that outside a bit, it pops up a bit, but the finish, it just
improvisation, adapt, overcome. That's what he's done. Top bin.
Absolutely. I really liked in the kind of opening stages of that game, watching when you see Anthony Gordon running back and blocking a pass down the line, and he runs over to the crowd and he's like, hey, get us up. I really love the connection that the Newcastle players seem to have with the fans, and how involved the fans seem in these games. And before, the display before the match with all the flags around St James's Park, you had the tifos out. It looked like a brilliant atmosphere, and I was a bit gutted actually that they didn't win. I really wanted to see Champions League nights return again to St James's
I think, given the way they're going to go, I don't think it'll be long before they're back in the Champions League again.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, this season the Premier League is very, very difficult. It's very, very tight at the top. So they'll do well to get back in that top four. But again, I don't think it'll be too long before we see those European nights. I was quite interested by the stat. This is the first time in history that two Premier League clubs have finished bottom of their Champions League group. The other one, of course, being Manchester United. What has gone wrong there?
Oh, Blair, I don't know what to say about Manchester United anymore. Was everyone expecting them to beat Bayern Munich? No, but it's finishing bottom of the group. Where if you look at that group as well, with Galatasaray and Copenhagen, that is a group that Manchester United should be coming out of. This is a brilliant Bayern Munich side, no doubt about it. They are probably favourites to finish top of the group. But Manchester United, with the money they've spent and the players they've got, regardless of their form, should absolutely be coming out of that group. And it shouldn't even be coming down to the last game. Let's
be honest, this game was not lost the other night against Bayern Munich. This group was not lost against Bayern Munich. This group was lost losing to Copenhagen. Games like that. The first English club to concede 15 goals in the Champions League group stage. And it says to me, are they lacking some sort of a leader? I've seen a stat that the last time they made out of a Champions League group, Cristiano Ronaldo scored 3 winning goals in that group stage, securing 8 out of 11 points. You just look at that team and go, who is going to be the figurehead that's going to step up? And even guys like Andre Onana, he gets a lot of criticism this season, but last year he was a finalist. He was the goalkeeper for Inter Milan who made it all the way to the final last year. He was the joint most clean sheets in the tournament last year. And you just wonder where it's gone wrong. But I mean, the manager, Erik ten Hag.
And now we can focus, of course, on the Premier League. And this is, I think, the level we want to play, Champions League. So we have to give every effort in and to be in the top 4. So we next year we are back in the Champions League, and then of course we have the FA Cup. So there's still many things to play for.
Yeah, I don't know where Manchester United go from here. They've been a club in disarray since Sir Alex Ferguson left all those years ago. But if you talk about a team in their group, Copenhagen probably surprised everyone with their performances. They're now making it into the last 16. with, I believe, is it the smallest budget, the
Yep,
smallest reported budget?
For me, Adam, they're the story of the Champions League, like you said. It's reported that they have the second smallest budget in the entire competition, of just €66.35 million. I mean, if we take a look at the results on the screen here in the group stage, a 2-2 draw to start off with against Galatasaray, then losing at home to Bayern Munich, no shame in that. Again, losing to Manchester United. At this point, you could forgive them for falling off, but that was a game that really turned it. The home leg against Manchester United, that stunning 4-3 win when Rooney Bardghji, 17 years old at the time, comes on, dubbed the Swedish Messi, scoring the goal in that absolute thriller. And then look at the end of that campaign, away to Bayern Munich, securing a draw, and then the other night, winning 1-0 at home to Galatasaray. What an incredible story for this team. And it's only the second time that a Danish team has actually made it to the last 16 of the Champions League. When it was Copenhagen that done it back in 2010-11. And my favourite part about this whole story, do you know how they celebrated with their fans? Yes. At the end of the game, 30,000 fans, it came over the tannoy, everybody will get a free beer. And see, that's something we need to bring to this country. I think that absolutely incredible.
Carlsberg.
Oh, absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. And I think it just makes it so much more incredible that you think this was a team that wasn't even in the Champions League to begin with. They went through 3 qualifying rounds, beating Breidablik, Sparta Prague and Rakow. Getting through 3 rounds to come to the Champions League and then to be in the last 16, and they're not out yet. I don't know where they're going to go from here, but they're a team definitely to watch and a team who are fighting for each other. You can see that.
I think that story gives me, confidence and belief that it's not over for sides like Rangers and Celtic when they're playing in the Champions League. Our Scottish teams are probably of a similar budget to Copenhagen. I would still argue Rangers and Celtic are bigger football clubs, but in terms of where they now sit in the European football landscape, Copenhagen are probably of a similar size to Rangers and Celtic in terms of resources. So if they can do it, why can't our clubs?
I think it's been held up as a little bit of a stick to beat the Scottish teams with in this last week. When you look at Copenhagen, they can do it, they can make it, and it's not all about signing superstars. It's just about recruiting well. It's about having a well-run club, a well-run team, and like you said, on purported one of the smallest budgets in the whole tournament, you can make it to the knockout stages.
Let's get some early predictions in before we move on to our final fun segment. Blair, you look at those teams qualified for the last 16. Who would you fancy to win it?
I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball here. I have a sneaky suspicion that Arsenal might go quite far this year. I don't know why. You can't
throw that until you don't know why.
I just feel as though they've looked good in the group stages. They've looked pretty slick in the group stages. Even this season in the league, okay, they've had a few hiccups. They're trundling along, but I just think there's something about them this year. I've seen them in the Champions League, and I think they can. All this is all about the draw. The draw is where it's going to be won and lost for a lot of teams. But if they get a favourable draw all the way to the final, they have the quality. I don't see why not.
I worry about Arsenal because if you look back to last year where they were 6-7 points clear at the top of the English Premier League, they seem to run out of steam towards the end of the season. I'm not sure that they have the squad depth or the resources within that squad to go. It's a gruelling season when you're still in the Champions League for that length of time. Last year, of course, they didn't have that same burden. This year, if you go all the way to a final, you're playing games right into June, and then it becomes a 60-70 game season. For the players playing international, it's even more than that, which is a lot of those guys at Arsenal. So I'm not sure that they can go all the way. They may run out of steam. As you said, if you get a nice draw.
You look at Inter Milan last year. I don't think anybody before the tournament would be tipping them to be finalists. And the way it panned out last year, you've seen Benfica in the later stages, you've seen AC Milan in the later stages, Inter Milan in the later stages. I think if you get a favourable draw all the way, and let's not forget, Arsenal have got some great players. Saka's been turning it on this year. Declan Rice, £100 million player. I think these guys, if the draw goes their way, they could look good, or unless they come up against Harry Kane and Bayern Munich. They're also pretty good as well.
I fancy Bayern. I've watched Bayern a few times this season, and that's what I think about the depth in their squad. If you look at their bench, although they have Harry Kane, who's cursed. He's not winning something. He's never won a trophy before, but he's the best striker in the world for me.
I think when you look at him, Harry Kane, just to go off on that a little bit, he seems to have taken his game up again when he stepped up to Bayern Munich. And I mean, obviously he's a world-class striker with Tottenham, a world-class striker with England, but But taking that level up to Bayern Munich and just settling in so quickly and instantly looking like a leader in that team, and with the weight of that Bayern Munich jersey, it's something special.
I love his learning German already as well.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But don't Real Madrid as well. You know, they are serial winners in this competition.
You can never rule Real Madrid
They got
out.
Jude.
Yeah, they have Jude Bellingham carrying them on his shoulders. Your boy, I know you'll be backing them all the way to watch him lift the trophy. And talking about Real Madrid, former player of those, Sergio Ramos, now with Sevilla, of course. He scored this week his 17th Champions League goal, which makes him the highest scoring defender in the competition. And that got me this week thinking about goal scoring defenders, because we did see a few of them. Obviously, Lagerbielke scoring the winner for Celtic, and Pepe scoring again for Porto. He's twice this season broke his own record for being the oldest player by a couple of weeks this time. So I think he's just building on top of that. And I did look back at players who played a little bit further back, but we still managed to find the net. Three of my favourites: Laurent Blanc, probably better known now in a younger generation for being a manager. Played for teams like Napoli, Barcelona, Marseille, and at Milan, Manchester United. A wealth of experience in the Champions League. But what's most interesting for me is that, when have you ever seen a central defender being the top goal scorer for a club? Absolutely
never
incredible.
happens. It just doesn't happen.
When he was playing for Montpellier in France, he scored in one season 18 goals in 34 games from centre-back, and he is still the club's top goal scorer with 80 goals. That's quite incredible.
That is incredible. You've also, I see you've noted down Ronald Koeman as well. Again, someone that younger generations will also probably know as a manager, but back in his day, Ronald Koeman, he was a free kick specialist.
What an incredible player. Penalties, free kicks.
Yeah.
He could hit the ball so hard. Like, I cannot explain into words how hard this man could hit the ball. 239 career goals as a centre back tells you everything you need to know. Top goal scorer in the 1994 Champions League, and of course, I think most famously, if you've not seen it, go back. In 1992, he scores the winning goal in the European Cup final for Barcelona against Sampdoria, against Wembley, one of his trademark absolute rockets. He was the prime example of a defender that was great at scoring goals. And my last one here, Fernando Hierro, central defender, also played centre midfield, so I'm kind of cheating it a little bit, but he was definitely more predominantly.
I would say he's
predominantly a defender.
Back, yeah.
Scored 127 goals for Real Madrid. Maybe not so much in the Champions League, but he was a 3-time winner of the competition. A player that Steve McManaman said this guy ran the Real Madrid dressing room. He was Mr. Real Madrid at the time. Went to Al Riyadh after he left Real Madrid, before he came back to Europe. Turned up in Britain for Sam Allardyce's Bolton Wanderers, and seemingly going to join his teammate Ivan Campo, and he was called by Sam Allardyce the best passer I've ever seen at the club, which is high praise indeed for Fernando Hierro.
That is amazing. Now, there's probably a few we have forgotten, so if anyone thinks of any other goal-scoring defenders that haven't quite made our list, please do let us know. Let's talk a little bit more about Sergio Ramos, because he's broken that record now with 17 goals, highest goal-scoring defender. For me, Sergio Ramos is like one of these players of a generation. His longevity over the course of, well, put it this way, when I first started watching football, Sergio Ramos was already a professional. When I was born, Sergio Ramos was already a professional footballer. I'm now 22 and he's still playing and he's still breaking records. And for me, he was Mr. El Clasico as well, watching those games. Him and Pepe winding up the Barcelona attack. Sometimes it worked, sometimes he got sent off, but I think he's just a joy to watch, a true competitor and a true warrior. He
really is a giant of the European game. He's one of those players that you'll look back on and you'll tell kids, grandkids about this guy who was like a really, really top of his game. I remember him coming through when he was at Sevilla and he would this long, flowing hair. I remember very specifically his photo shoot when he signed for Real Madrid, and he was this young man who was coming in as almost like a fullback, and he obviously transitioned into central defence. He went through that period a few years ago. He started taking penalties. He grew the beard. He became Mr. Real Madrid for a while. He became like the bastion of that team, just offset of Cristiano Ronaldo, who obviously had all the limelight. But yeah, he's what an incredible player, an incredible servant, and one of the icons of the Champions League.
Yeah, he's won a World Cup, 2 European Championships, maybe 5 Champions League, 4 Champions League, maybe even 6. I haven't actually checked. A real top class player and a true Real Madrid legend. So yes, if there are any other goal scoring central defenders that we have missed out, please do let us know in the comments section below. But unfortunately, that's all we have time for, and that is the final instalment of our European special show of 2023. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all again in 2024.